Hey everyone, we're gonna go ahead and excuse me, we're gonna go ahead and work on Callie today, but you guys probably saw some of the stuff that's coming out from the actual content creators, not little people like me, but the actual content creators, um, giving their opinions about, different game features, which has been invaluable and I think has really done a lot to open up the eyes of a lot of the players and just kind of, help give them kind of some realism in what they can expect coming up in the next few months. Um, but we are going to go ahead and go through just kind of doing my little midday stuff here and talk about King's Group and Fun Plus. Um, so some of you have seen the feedback page on the State of Survival Discord, especially in the last couple of days. And you are, let me pull that up. Okay. So there are, again, still problems in different states. And a community manager, incidentally, called reports of those issues and demands that those be fixed because they've been a problem since October. Called them spam and essentially disrespected the entire player community, whether or not that was just, a miscommunication or they misspoke or that was simply their opinion. The fact of the matter is, there was somebody who made a statement which did hurt a lot of people and caused quite a few issues. And so the moderation team, bless them, they have been doing their level best to try and fix those problems, which isn't easy. As some of you know, it's not easy. So the next order of business is what is going on with with this. Okay, let me show you. Something dropped, and a lot of people are putting a lot of hope into it, and it's not what you think it is. All right, here we go. That. Transfer passes. Now this gets more expensive. It says there's only one remaining, and it gives you a countdown because it's playing on your fear of missing out. It wants you to feel like if you don't get it within that time, it's never going to return again, or it will never return at that price. It'll return. It comes back. They're reoccurring. So it always returns. It just means that you'll only get this at this price once within the next 9 days. And then after it times out, it'll restart with the next deal, which will probably look very, very similar to this. So there's one issue already with, just the bundle packs in general and how microtransactions work in a lot of these games. So this isn't anything new. But with this, a lot of people are going to be needing, I've heard upwards of 15 transfer passes, and you're seeing this is $10 and you only get one, and then the next is higher price and you may only have one available of those or two available of those, and so on and so forth. That's going to be quite expensive. So now you're looking into $500 just to transfer states. And when you leave a state and join another state, you really need to be careful who you're joining, because it's not the new start that you think it is. You're joining a state that already has or may have pre-existing problems, may have just recently gone through war, may be experiencing the loss of rewards or the lack of compensation due to the loss of rewards. They're going to be on a completely different state schedule. So you really have to take the time to make the decision for yourself. Is that something that you want to do? I don't think this is going to be as successful as the developers believe it's going to be, simply by virtue of the fact that a lot of the whales are quitting, and the people that are going to be transferring states are probably going to not be making the most informed decisions and transferring to states wherein they are not happy, which will eventually lead to further state death, essentially. This was something that was poorly thought out, poorly handled, and frankly, it's too little too late. We have been asking for this for ages. Another thing is that people saw the announcement that was put into the Discord today regarding some of the feedback that was referred to as spam. And it's not, you'll notice it's not incredibly detailed. A lot of this leads me to believe it's because there's going to be an update coming soon. Our last update was January 10th, which means that our next update will be coming soon because they run on a monthly cycle. We also have the Valentine's Day event, and then if it repeats like last year, we'll have the carnival event at the end of the year. Or, I'm sorry, not at the end of the year, at the end of the month. So that tells me that they've been working on this long enough to put whatever the fix is for the affected states in an update, but they only just released that statement, so they could have saved themselves months of grief if they had simply said, hey, we're working on a state, we're working on compensation, we're working on all of this, this is how we're working on this. You know, you're just going to have to kind of give us some time to make sure that everything in the code is okay. But they don't do that. They have a real problem with communication, as evidenced. Another thing that's an issue, and that has really made a lot of people upset, is what they've done to their in-game streaming program. They have let go a bunch of their streamers and have now made the decision to go in a completely different direction regarding, I guess, how they handle the content. That's fine, that's great, except when they tend to stop letting people do things for them, they tend to steal their content. As previous content creators have been made aware, people who made charts and graphs and stuff like that for year one, part of year two, had things taken from them, things that they worked very hard on and were not given proper credit for. And that very well could happen here. But this also puts people out of employment. This is something that, for a lot of these people, this is their main source of income. And when they were contractually signed, they did so under the assumption that not that they would have continued employment, but basically that they would have more warning than just, we're letting you go and we're ending the program. So yeah, there's that. They've released events that don't work. Reservoir Raid, that's a joke. It's funny, just not funny, ha ha. So my state got legions, and when we got legions, we got like the saddest message, and a lot of states didn't even get messages. They didn't even know that they got it. I want to see if I kept it in this account. Nope, I didn't. Okay. But yeah, we got messages like as soon as legions opened for Reservoir Raid for like the time selection, and they were like, oh yeah, your state has been selected for legions, and then I had to figure out how to sign everybody up. And because I was already aware that there were problems with alliances being booked twice for the same time, and then alliances that, like, you can't, when you're locked into Legion 1, you can't then be signed up for Legion 2, so that caused a lot of issues as far as, like, some of the engagement in my alliance. So I just signed up for Legion 1. I just skipped Legion 2. And Legion 1 is the one that, like, actually determines, like, your rank and your raid score and stuff like that. So Legion 2 is just kind of like the gravy to your mashed potatoes. And then another issue was obviously modding Mayhem, which still doesn't work, never works. There's Azurtane Heist, which is pretty much just bully fest. Oh, the hero challenges. Some states didn't even get hero challenges. That was also addressed in the announcement. Let's see. Oh, state versus state. Here's an interesting thing. I sent in feedback about this because I was not happy. They didn't tell people when they released the limitless heroes that for things like state versus state, upgrading those heroes doesn't give you points. Only the hero fragments do. Like, only the actual fragments do. So why did I bother upgrading my limitless for state versus state? I could have saved them until the event, until it was actually relevant, because eventually enough people were going to complain it was going to get fixed anyway, because they couldn't monetize it anymore when people got wise to it. That's how they always do it. I'd be mad, but I've been gaming for too long, so, like, they're not even subtle. I think I'm offended because they're not even subtle. Plasma Lab, that's a joke. It's always been a joke. So this is why people are upset. It's just, this is what we're getting. We're getting a lot of lag. These still don't go away. We're getting problems that have been reported for 2 years, 3 years, and still aren't fixed. And they just want to continue to release features that nobody asked for and nobody wants. Every 3 months we get a new hero. Every month we get an update. Every month we have a skin festival. It's gotten boring. And they don't listen to people when we want to tell them how to make it exciting and interesting and retain their players and still make them money. So at this point, I can't tell you what to do with your game, but I can tell you that I don't fault you. I'm going to be sticking around. I'm not going to be transferring state. I'm going to do my best to stick it out. But whatever you decide as a player to do, just do it with the right information in mind and go forward remembering that every single one of these types of games is exactly the same. Use what you learned in this in the next one. And be kind to the gamers there, because the company sure won't be.